Our phone number, 1-800-771-1025. Going over to Mike now. Mike, I appreciate you waiting on hold. I know you're on hold there for a second. What's going on, man? You got some family issues.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going, guys? First time calling the show. I've been listening since you guys started this little thing, and it's been great. I love it.
Thank you.
It helps me a lot. So I got to give you guys a little bit of a backstory here, and it kind of sucks. I'm 46. I'm an electrical contractor. I have 6 daughters. 3 of them I have raised to adulthood and almost adulthood. My 16-year-old still lives with us here in St. Pete. I have 3 younger daughters, twins that are 11 and one that is 8. And their mother and her family have our breakup was contentious. She seems to think that I'm not an appropriate father. I'm not able to be a dad, despite evidence to the contrary. I mean, my older daughter is one's managing a store right now, and the other one is an intelligence specialist in the Navy, and doing very well for herself. I've had custody of her since she was 8 years old. They don't contact me. I have to reach out to speak to my daughters. It's been very hard for me to stay in touch with them with the distance and the contentiousness between me and her mother. Well, the last time I had spoken to their mother, my family and I, she was sick. She had breast cancer, and she told us she was in remission. Her hair was growing back. She was looking better. Everything was good. About a week after Christmas, my aunt, who still lives in the hometown, was reading the newspaper and saw her obituary in the newspaper.
Oh, wow.
I did not find out she passed away until a full week after she died. And, I had talked to my daughters between then and now. Nobody told me she was even sick. And now, their grandmother is trying to step in and take my daughters and keep them. And I am in the process of trying to get my shared custody to, primary custody for me so my wife and I can be there for my girls. Now, I don't want to just yank them out of the life that they've lived for the last, 7 years and take them out of school and stuff. However, on the other side of that, I don't want them growing up without their father. And their mother made it so hard for me to be a part of their life. My side of the street is not clean. I cheated on her. I had some pretty bad drug problems before I left Pennsylvania. A lot of it was my fault, but I've rectified that. And of all the things I've done wrong in life, the one thing I have not done wrong is be a dad. I've been a good dad, regardless of my faults and mistakes. I have just been a mess over this. I don't know what to do. I'm taking the right steps, through the legal process and such. I had to reach out and get in touch with their schools to get, in on the list. So I was getting updates through the schools instead of from their mother, because I got all the information from their mother. Now, I'm really trying to open lines of communication with her mother, and these people are just so spiteful and nasty. They just hate me so much that they don't want to allow me to be part of these girls' lives. And
hey, let me ask you this question really quick, Mike. What is do they live geographically close to you, or do they live in another state?
No, they live in Pennsylvania.
Okay. So first of all, I totally, oh man, these kind of family issues, boy, it just kind of feels like one thing after another, right? Like it's like you didn't know your wife died and all that stuff. So got to celebrate and applaud you cleaning up your side of the street. I think that's an important thing on this. The one thing I would say in this, without because we have to go to break here in just a second, Mike, and I don't want to cut you off, but I would look at this as a father. I would look at this through the lens of do what's right for the girls. Like you said a minute ago, like I'm not going to take them out of school and all that stuff.
Yes.
But at the same time, fight for the role of being a dad. It's like, it's it, man. It's like, it is the it of it. As a dad, I would fight for my kids, but I would not fight for them to make their lives crappy. I would fight simply that they know they have a dad in their lives. Now, it just may mean that, you're traveling to Pennsylvania a lot or you're doing things like that. That's okay. Those are functional things that can be solved with a plane ticket or a full tank of gas. But
100%.
but communicating, maybe even to the girls, hey, I'm your dad, and all I want to be is your dad. I just want I want you want them to know that, not in a forceful like, "Oh, damn it, I'm going to be your dad whether you like it or not, but just in a like, hey, I'm your dad. It's hard to be a single parent. It's hard to that. I'm in your life for a reason. And I just want to show up in your life as a reason, and understand you're not going to solve every problem today. It's literally like, what's the next step for me to take so that I can keep their lives and their sanities in check, but know that, hey, I'm your dad, and I'm going to show up and be the best dad I can be for you, whatever that looks like, whatever that outcome ultimately is.
Yep. And I mean, I am a good dad. I've proven it 3 times over already, and I just want the opportunity to be a good dad to these girls. And
then I would say that. Then I would literally say those words.
Is what I have said.
Yeah, and I would repeat those words, and I would absolutely like don't let up on that.
No.
Without it, again, I think the mistake a lot of people make in situations like this is that the kids get caught in the middle, the kids get caught in the shrapnel and the firestorm. So be cognizant and aware of that, while at the same time, stand up for yourself. Stand up for your right legally, yes, but your right as a human being and as responsible for 23 of their chromosomes, that you are their dad. And you want to show up and be loving and supportive and ask them questions. And just like you did for the one kid who's in the Navy, that these kids can have because it means a lot to a kid to have a dad. It's not always good, but it means a lot. That's an important thing. And I think staying firm to that, that's what I would do.
This is utter insanity that I'm going through right now. Mm-hmm. And it's taken everything for me to not get in my car and drive up there. As the non-custodial parent, I have rights. I'm aware of my rights. But I didn't act on impulse. I went through the courthouse like I'm supposed to, filed their correct paperwork, and I want to take this slow. I don't want to turn their lives upside down. However, something has to change. They're being raised by a grandmother who is in her late 60s and blind. But right now, they're not going to be able to get their needs met the way they need to be met by their parents, And unfortunately, their mom's not there to do that anymore. However, my wife is here. Me and her have been married for almost 6 years now. She's a part of their life as well, as much as we've been allowed to. And let me add on to this, I have family that still lives up in the area, and this family has kept my mom, my sister, my dad, my aunt away from these girls, actively stopped my family from seeing them. Every time we called to try to set something up, they were always doing something else, or, they would go knock on the door and they would hide. Pretty contentious between the family.
So I don't know if you heard when we talked last break that Spanish had some thoughts and something that I stand by what I said to you, man. You got to be a dad, and you got to fight for being a dad, without making the kids' lives disruptive. But I thought Spanish had a perspective.
So my perspective, and again, I am not a parent, so that is why I withheld comment. But my perspective is, and you kind of already touched on it a little bit, but if you have acted the same way when faced with certain emotions your entire life, then with an experience like this one can be very traumatic, and it is involving a lot of deep-seated emotions inside of you, then if you believe that the universe is trying to show you who you can be to become your highest, best self, then what is the universe trying to show you with this situation? What is it that you can be doing differently to show people a different side of you? And you said you already did it by taking it slow and going through the court to get what you want out of the situation, which is awesome. And my advice to people in general, whenever they have a situation like this, where it's like family against family, whether they're in-laws or not, I've always seen in my own personal life and in others that when even though that they're holding your family back from seeing those kids and holding you back from seeing those kids, they are still people, and they have the reasons for doing things that they're doing. Whether they're right or wrong is neither here nor there. But there are people just like you and I, and they're going to make the best decisions they can with what they have. So maybe if you approach it in a way of saying, hey, I don't know, because like I said, I don't have kids. But if you just approach it differently from a place of love instead of, hey, I need to have my children. Earlier you mentioned that you are a good dad, so you want to show that you're a good dad through these kids as well. And to me, that speaks to pride. And pride is a very, very dangerous thing, in my opinion. When you take a look at stuff like that, what could be done differently to make you grow as a person? But that was basically it. And I don't think you're doing anything wrong, by the way, Mike.
So this is, I love your point. It's great. And this is the perspective that I'm coming from. I am not coming from a perspective of they're my kids, I am going to be their dad, I'm Superman, da-da-da. No, that's not the perspective I'm coming from. I'm coming from the perspective of let's open up lines of communication between me and you, Grandma, first. Continue the relationship with the kids as it is right now, but let's have a different relationship than Mom and I had. Let's do this right. Not for me, not for you, but for them. Yeah. Like, they need to come first. Whether that's leaving them where they're at or bringing them with me is neither here nor there. The best decision needs to be made for them, not me, not my family, not her family. They need to be first.
And what if it is written in your destiny that this is the relationship that you're going to have with those kids for the rest of your life?
Then I will continue to be the best dad that I can possibly be to them in my scenario. And when they get old enough to figure it out on their own, they will figure it out.
I dig that, Mike.
Yeah, I like that a lot, Mike. I think that's a very healthy perspective.
Yeah, man.
Like, you hold on to that. How old are the kids again?
The twins are 11 and the youngest is 8, and they are the exact same age. Coincidentally, I had my older two girls, Serenity and Dara. When I had to this was a different situation. Mom was a meth head, crazy stuff, but they are the exact same ages when I took Serenity and Dara from their mother. Now, I had to forcibly take her, and when I took my younger one, Dara, she couldn't take care of herself hygiene-wise. Like, she couldn't wipe. She was 8 years old. She barely went to school. She was in pretty bad shape whenever I took custody of her, and now she's in her early 20s, and she is doing very well in our United States Navy. She's got clearances that she sees things that I'll never see in my life.
Right.
So I just want to point out before we wrap up with you, Mike, that is that the universe has literally given you the same exact situation with very coincidental numbers tied to it. So that being the case, if you do believe in coincidences, I wish you luck throughout the rest of your life. But if you don't believe in coincidences, you are being shown something on purpose to learn, to grow for whatever reason. So good luck, my friend. You have some inner work to do, as they say.
Yeah,
I do, and I've been doing a lot of inner work over the years. Changing a lot of stuff about me because I wasn't the best person. Especially, I may have been a good dad, but I wasn't the best person. I've changed a lot of that. And the guy that I was whenever I left that situation in Pennsylvania is not the same man that stands before you today.
Good for you, Mike.
And that's awesome. I'll leave you guys with this. As long as you guys are okay with it, I'm going to keep you all updated on this as it unfolds. I'm going up to see the girls in 2 weeks to spend the weekend with them, with my mom and my sister. So that's going to be our first in-person interaction since all this went down. And, it's going to be a good thing. It really is going to be a good thing. I have faith in it. It's nice to have somebody on the outside to speak to. I haven't yet to get myself into therapy. My wife's GPS driver, so we have really good insurance, and I have a therapist appointment set up. I'm going to be working on that myself to help me. But, something like this, just talking to another couple guys that really have no horse in the race, just helps me immensely. It just gives me perspective that I don't have on my own, and I can't get from my family or somebody that backs me up. You know what I mean?
100%. That's why we're here. That's literally why we're here. And I think what we've uncovered in this conversation between Spanish, myself, and you just talking through is I think we've uncovered that you're actually in a pretty good place. And now it's just taking the lessons from your life, the changes you made as a man, and now continuing that moving forward. So, yeah, man.
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, Mike, I'm glad you called back.
Thanks, guys.
I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Good luck. And yes, please keep us updated. Once you get back
I
from
will.
Pennsylvania, call us back.
I'm a regular listener. I do listen to you guys every Saturday, and I will become a regular caller.
Awesome.